Well, good evening. Welcome to the Saline County Planning and Zoning Committee meeting tonight, June 3rd, 2019. We'll begin with the consent agenda. Item A is approval of the agenda for June 3rd, 2019. Are there any changes or amendments to the agenda? I'd entertain a motion to approve.
I motion that we approve the meeting, the minutes.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item B, approval of the minutes for April 1st, 2019. Any discussion or concern? Or
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes from the last minutes.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes from April 1st, 2019. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries as well. Item number 2, application MMA A19-1. I'll turn the time over to staff to give us an overview.
This is the review and recommendation of a declaration of a minimum maintenance road for a portion of Cunningham Road. The applicant is the Saline County Board of County Commissioners at the request of John Tinkler. The County Commission has been working on changing the classification of Cunningham Road from an earth to minimum maintenance. The following is a checklist of steps and actions for a road to be declared minimum maintenance. After the Planning Commission makes a recommendation, the County Commission will hold a public hearing to effectuate the resolution. We're at this point, you can see we checked all the way down. We're now at the Planning Commission hearing. The verbal report of the Planning Commission hearing will be provided to the County Commission, as well as a written findings. Comments from other departments and agencies. Road and Bridge Department is in agreement with this request. We did receive a comment back from one of the utility companies, Westar, said that they had a slight issue with declaring it a minimum maintenance due to access for any kind of maintenance work.
Mr. Hamilton, you might get that mic. Just bring that mic up. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
There we go. And is that better?
Yeah,
okay.
that's better.
Okay. The comprehensive plan shows the future land use in this vicinity as agricultural and allows the lowest amount of development potential at approximately 1 dwelling unit for every 80 acres. The zoning in all directions is agricultural. Adjacent land uses, the primary land use adjacent to the roadway is agricultural, and through traffic some through traffic utilizes this road. Staff recommendations: staff is recommending approval of the attached resolution 192270 for the following reasons. The proposed declaration would promote a land use pattern consistent with the future land use plan. There are no residential structures that would experience a negative impact on access as a result of this declaration. Controlled access will prevent the traveling public from the hazards of traveling along the earth road. So the alternatives are either to recommend approval of resolution 192270 or recommend denial of the resolution. With that, I'll turn it over to you all.
Okay. Are there any questions of staff from the commission before we open it to the public?
Yes, Mr. Hamilton and commissioners, I know primarily when we do a controlled access facility, we want to make sure that rural fire, that whatever fire district, I believe that's 2 down there, but I'm not sure, has access to a key just in case of a grass fire. Have you talked to rural fire district about that?
I believe that the county has been in conversation with them or is in the process of working that out.
Well, typically they make sure that somebody on that fire department has a key to get through there in case. Well, of course, there's always the bolt cutter that I'm sure they carry with them too. But just in case,
They mentioned it. I think that that came up at one of the previous
All right.
meetings, and so I think that's under negotiation right
All
now.
right, and same way with West Star, they'll need to make sure that they're able to get in case there is repairs required from a storm or from whatever.
Okay.
To get in. The other issue, I noticed one of the petitioners had said something about having a cell tower back along there someplace. Is that such that, is that road going to give a cell tower company access to either add to the cells or work on cells? So
they can have access. They would probably have to go through us anyway to do any kind of maintenance anyway. Yeah. So it's
Is there still access from the south to the cell tower with the proposed closing?
that Mr. Fischel with the Road and Bridge Department is supposed to be here to answer a whole lot of these types of questions. But I said I think that from what I understand that's still going to be available for them.
Yeah, I just want to express concern. I'm sure all those tidbits will be worked out later,
Right.
but I just particularly in the case of a fire, we need to make sure that they can get back in there and put out a fire.
Oh yeah, that's being considered.
Okay.
In this.
Any other discussion from the commission? If not, we'd like to invite the applicant to step forward, and if they have anything they'd like to say.
I'm Lawrence Stosko.
If you could please
to
step to
come
the
up.
microphone and state your name and address, please.
Lawrence Slotzko, 4408 East Country Estate Circle. I own Iron Mound and probably have spent more time at night up there than anybody living or dead playing ham radio. And it's a bit disconcerting when I go up there to operate and there's drug needles all over the ground I pick up because stainless steel doesn't rot. And on more than a few occasions, I've gone to leave at 3 or 4 in the morning and here's a car parked down there in the driveway that I have no clue who those people are. And I'd like to share with you a picture from last fall. And Mike and I have stopped giving people pullouts. We figure if they're dumb enough to be in there, I promise you there's nobody goes down through that road a lot. And I would like to get it so there aren't ruts cleaned up enough. And anyway, I think it's a good idea just to get it closed up.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak to us?
Robert Keeler, and I live at 5036 East Cloud. And I've got the pastures on the both sides of the road there. And there's somebody up there, I don't know how many people have been stuck there since it started raining last fall. And a lot of them, there's a lot of drug traffic, like Dr. Stoskoff said. All them gates got needles in them. And here a couple months ago, I picked up a pack of marijuana there and some needles. And I run people out of there on a regular basis because if they aren't up there doing drugs, they're dumping stuff. And like I said, I can't even guess how many people was stuck up there this winter. The record services actually didn't even want to go out there no more because it was such a bog down there behind that one pond. And I have people that doing their drugs and stuff. I might find them in the morning, and they don't even know that they're alive, and beat on the door of their car, get them woke up, and get them out of there. And we've also had people walk into our house all hours of the day and night that are stuck over there and spent the night, and it's just been nothing but a mess. And I don't know what road they'll go to do their drugs if they get it closed, but it would be a good idea, I think, to get that thing closed. And with all the grass that's around it, also in the summertime, it's a fire hazard having them kind of people up there. And there's some decent people go up there too, but most of them are up to no good. And as Dr. Stoskoff stated, when my cows are calving and I'm up in them pastures all hours of the night, there's always cars driving up and down that road and stopping. And on the what he brought up about the rural fire department having a key, it's faster usually for a rural fire department to use their bolt cutters than find their key. So
You're
that was
right,
a good,
yes, sir.
it was a good point, but I mean, you know, it's usually just faster to use the bolt cutters. And as far as West Star, they never use that road anyway. They use their easement. They can come in off of Cloud Street or come in off of Magnolia or come in off of Woodard Road. And I've got those pastures too, and they can go right down that easement and get wherever they need to get. So, yeah, they might go up that road someday, but they don't have to. So,
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Anyone else like to comment from the public, either for or against? Okay, I'll bring it back to the commission. Any more discussion? Or?
The only thing I'd say, having lived out on that side of Salina, I know full well what they're talking about. People don't use that road after sundown unless you're calving, like what he was talking about, or is ham radio or doing something they shouldn't be doing. So, you know, as far as closing the road down, it's not going to affect the public as a general that much. So,
I'd like to interject. Also that it was we're not required to. Like, I just wanted for the record to say that we did send notice out to all the people who would be, you know, that were on the petition as well for this meeting, and we did publish in the paper as well. So.
Yeah. Any other comments or?
I have no
Concerns?
objection to all this.
Has there been any other feedback from West Star?
No.
Okay.
I'm like him. It ain't going to be that big of
Yeah,
an
it's
issue.
a high
to
line. They've
start.
got access there.
I used to have a dirt road that people did the exact same thing to.
yeah.
I've also got a cell tower. I've got, you know, everybody coming out there. So they have access if they need access. It's not going to be that big of an issue to close the road.
Okay. If there are no more questions or comments, I'm willing to entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve County Commission Resolution 19-2270 and accept staff's recommendation to declare that road, Cunningham Road, a portion thereof, minimum maintenance and controlled access facility.
And I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve application MMA 19-1, resolution to the County Commission to close this portion of Cunningham Road as stated per the recommendations from staff. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay. Motion carries.
And for the public that's here, just to let you know, this will go before the county commission probably next Tuesday or the following Tuesday, 2 Tuesdays. So in a couple of weeks, it'll be scheduled.
I was up here before. I didn't address the cell phone, the microwave tower there. And I talked to those guys this winter when they were in there working on that tower. And the guys that was there, of course, they weren't the head men or anything, but they said they didn't see any problem as long as they had a key to get in there. And we could also, if we had to, we could close that road at their gate from the south. That way they could get in there from the south. And if there's different ways we could close that, and we could close it from the north, and then from the south we could leave them access to their gate if we had to. But their gate is one of the main places where you can find drug paraphernalia and that stuff almost any night. You can find that up there. So, you know, it would be best if we could get it closed south of there. But if not, you know, that way it wouldn't be no problem. The road's good from the south, and they could get up there and get in their own gate. So,
Speaking from experience, I see no reason why you can't just put their lock on your gate.
yeah,
That's what I have
I
on
already
mine.
got it. Yeah, yeah.
So it's absolutely
and
no
I've,
issue.
I've got my locks on
And
all
I'd close
West
it off
Stars
as
too.
much as I could.
I used to work with Kansas Gas Service, who was affiliated with West Star, so I've got West Star locks and 2 or 3 locks on all my pasture gates. So, okay, I just
Right.
wanted to address the microwave tower.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to item 3. Discussion by the board regarding the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Okay, this is the Saline County Board of Zoning Appeals is a quasi-judicial board made up of no less than 5 and no more than 9 members that hear variance cases and appeals on staff interpretation of the zoning regulations. The board last considered an action item in 2011. Since that time, the terms of the board members have expired, and currently no Board of Zoning Appeals is in place to hear variances and appeals. Under state statute KSA 12759 subsection G, members of the Planning Commission representing rural Saline County may be appointed as the Board of Zoning Appeals. This would not affect member status on the Planning Commission. Decisions of the Planning Commission and Board of Appeals are appealed to the County Commission. Staff is seeking Planning Commission input on the prospect of appointing current rural representatives of the Planning Commission to joint membership on the Board of Zoning Appeals, or should the Board of Appeals just remain a standalone entity? So,
Open it for some discussion.
Having came off the Board of Zoning Appeals as irregularly as we met, to me, there shouldn't be any problem just rolling it over. Of course, it says rural representatives. Since I live in the city, I wouldn't be allowed to sit on it, so that would be you guys, but that's just kind of the way. If you would scratch out the rule, I would have no problem with it, but.
Well, I do know that we made some changes about 2011 that gave staff some more flexibility, and that pretty much eliminated the need for the board at that time
yeah.
for a lot of that, so.
I was going to ask you, what's the purpose of this board, because I haven't seen a purpose.
Yeah.
It's
Prior-
basically, oh, I'm sorry.
Prior to 2011, we did have a lot of cases where it was a foot variance or something like that, because letter of the law, staff couldn't approve it. So we made some changes to give them some more flexibility, and that kind of took care of all the things that they were addressing. At
I
least the majority of them.
remember one we had when it was out over here, somewhere around New Cambria, and it was, we allowed a house to be built on a little section of land that ordinarily wouldn't have had it. That was about it. There wasn't anything too major in it.
I can't see that it makes any difference.
Uh-oh, she's smiling out there. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Are there any public comments related to this? Okay. Well, do we need to make a motion for a resolution, or?
Just need an opinion about, do you want me to go ahead, and what I would do is if you're leaning in the direction of just of having the rural members being the Board of Zoning Appeals, then what I would do is staff would put together a resolution, and that resolution would go before the county, which would effectively make, establish those members as the new Board of Zoning Appeals.
Okay. Does everyone agree with that as a
We did it before, so it's
Yeah.
not like it's a big deal.
For what little bit it meets and for what little bit of work it's going to be involved.
Yeah, if you promise it'd be another 7 years, it'd be great.
So is it the consensus of the board that we allow that to be a recommendation, as our opinion, that
Yeah.
rural members can participate as Board of Zoning Appeals?
Maybe
Okay.
one of these days they'll meet.
All right. Well, that was the last item we had on the agenda. Is there anything else that you have for us today, staff?
Nothing today.
Okay.
25 minutes. Okay.
I would entertain a
20
motion to
minutes.
dismiss.
I move we dismiss.
I'll second it.
All right.
Okay,
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
okay. I'm going to rush off then.